Hi you guys, happy new year. The video I posted before, you're gonna get it. This is my new year's video, so I can let y'all know what's been going on. So like I said, happy new year. Hope everything was safe for y'all. Let's just get into this video. So hi, my name is Adriana, also known as Black Girl Writing, and this is gonna be a vlog. So right now I just got done filling in my stuff for work. I got the new Bloom planner for 2023. And I filled out my goals and all that stuff for it, and I'm really liking this planner thus far. But this isn't a planner video, but that's what I was doing, and I had my phone, and I was like, I'm about to film this. Nala is eating and farting up a storm. So this will be fun. So anyway, it is January the 2nd, Monday. I did have to go to work today for observation for the new year, obviously. So I spent that time relaxing. So today I turned in my MFA application. So my personal statement and then an excerpt of some writing that I've done. I think I mentioned in my last video that I changed it from my third person point of view to my first character's point of view because I was loving her chapter. I added a little bit more onto it. So instead of it being 8 pages, it was 11 going on 12, which was the max. It was like the minimum was 8 and it could go up to 12. So I stopped at 11. So I think I did really good. I tried to follow the prompt as best as I could. A little nervous, so I will hear back, I think, next week. So hopefully all kind of works out, but if not, I have a plan. I have a plan in motion in my head. So what I did today, well, what I did yesterday, which was January 1st, right? Yeah, Monday. Yeah. So what I did, no, Sunday, what I did writing wise, besides finishing up my, besides tweaking and finishing up the application, I worked on my magic system and actually like my magical elements. So I have 4, but really could be 3 magical elements. I call them the cerebral magic, the nature or elemental magic, and then I have animalistic magic. So I tried to break them up into different categories. And then I have 25 different magic types, and from there what I wanted to do today, but I kind of took a break because I submitted my stuff this morning, so I was kind of just like drained from that. What I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to go through and categorize each of the 25 magic types into those 3 categories of cerebral, elemental nature, and then animalistic magic, which when you look at all the magic options that I have on my PowerPoint, you'll understand why. So I was like, cool, I can do that. So my plans for this following week is to finish up chapter 2, which is still in my first person's point of view, go into chapter 3, which is my second character's point of view as well. Let's see, and I think that's really gonna be it. It's the start of the year, going back to work with like more projects and stuff, and it's just gonna be like a hammering down of things for me to do at work. So I'm like, ooh, I want to get my writing in, and I feel like I'm still gonna stick to my 7 to 10 schedule, what I did last week. I've been feeling really good with writing or working on my project around that time, so I'm still gonna stick with that. Yeah, that's really just the update for today. I might talk a little bit about my writing goals. The main, obviously, goal by the end of this year is to finish the manuscript. Now, I think if I can be a little bit nitpicky, I would like to have this manuscript finished in the middle of the year, so then I can then revise it. You know what I'm saying? What I did learn, which I'm a little bit slow and late to the party, is that they're not doing Pitch Mad or Pitch Wars anymore, and that was something I was low-key gonna submit my stuff for. So I found that out the other day. It was like the end of Pitch Wars, and I was like, no, because I have a backup plan in mind just in case school and the master's doesn't work out. Like, I have this idea of what I'm gonna do, and then when I found out that they're not doing Pitch Wars anymore, I was just like, well, back to the drawing board. So I'm gonna go back to my first thing, which is hoping that this MFA pans out. And then yeah, So that's really my writer's goal, if I made any sense with that. Like, y'all, I'm going to have this manuscript finished by the end of the year, and it will have been revised at least once. I will probably most definitely 100% go back to my alpha reader. It's January now. Actually, let's put a goal. Let's put a goal in our let's put a goal in our planner. So it's January. I'm gonna give myself all the way into, and if I work every day on writing, I'm gonna give myself until April 1st, April Fool's, to finish the whole first draft. So my goal is to finish the first draft by April 1st, April Fool's. Oh, hopefully I'm not playing myself. Oh, that'd be crazy. So I'm gonna put this in my calendar date to finish first draft of Project Manifestors. And what I think would also be good as markers, since I'm still kind of in the beginning phases, I only have 2 chapters fully written, and then a little bit of the second, which I got pushed to the third one since my first main character is gonna have the 2 first chapters. I really only have 2 chapters done. So what can be a goal? Okay, so let's see. By the end of this month, the 28th, I would want to have 10 chapters done, right? I can do that. I can do 10 chapters by the end of this month. And then by the end of, for January, so then for February, if I add 10 more chapters on, that's 20. And then by the end of March, technically, I will have my 30 chapters. So I'm going to try it that way. So let me do for January 28th, I want to have 10 chapters done for Project Manifestors. Yeah. So I got that right here in my PTO day. I was like, I'm starting to take PTO days because I need to, my mental health is important. So at least one day at the end of the month. So we got one for January 28th, and then we have February 25th. I want 20 chapters. I'm gonna add on. So I have 20 chapters done in Project Manifestors. And then by March the 25th, oh, it's gonna be my sister's birthday on the 18th. I gotta remember that. Not the 8th. Not the 18th, the 8th. That's her birthday. I remember that. And then March 25th, I would like to have 30 chapters done, because I really want this book to be around like 32, 33, 34 chapters. But since I have 3 points of views, it might be longer, kind of like Tomi Adeyemi's book. So I'm really basing my pacing and stuff off of that book, and I think she has like 40 fucking chapters. I'm in the process of rereading it. I'm on chapter like 5. Or am I? No, I'm on chapter 4, going on chapter 5. Now let's stop messing with the cats. Go sit. Anyway, so by March 25th, I want to have 30 chapters done in Project Manifestors. Cool. And also in that way, I feel like it's very realistic. It's like a SMART goal. So specific, measurable, time. No, yes. Specific, time measurable. Some, you know. You can get 10 chapters within 28 days. That's doable. Like, I may have some time where I'm just doing research for research purposes or revision days, which I really don't want to do. But like I said, depending on how school goes, we'll see how it happens. So I want to have 10 chapters by the end of this month, 10 chapters done by the next month, and then the month after that. So then by November, y'all already know we're already set for NaNoWriMo. Like I'm putting this into play. So yeah, so I think that is really what it's gonna be happening with your girl thus far. This is what I'm planning, future planning, and then husband's phone went off. So future planning and this, and then, you know, what I've already done. So yeah, y'all, we're gonna tackle this new year. I'm excited. Y'all tell me y'all writing goals, like what y'all currently working on, and then what you want to have done by the end of the year, and we'll keep each other accountable to see where we are at. And yeah, so I will check in with you guys tomorrow. The plan is to just categorize all of my magic types tomorrow and then start writing chapter 2. Yeah. All right. Peace. Hey guys, it is me. It is January the 4th, a Wednesday. So I'm just recapping on what I worked on yesterday. So I was able to categorize my magic into there. I still kept it 4 like little categories, but I might just dwindle it down to the 3. I added some new magic in for my spiritual magic. So yeah, so that was the fun part. So on to the not so fun part. All right, I was struggling my ass off yesterday to even start writing chapter 2 for my chapter 2 and chapter 3. Because I was struggling with imagery. So in my head, after chapter 1 ends, you know, it automatically goes into chapter 2, and it's like the response of, you know, what's happening with everybody once the announcement is made. And for some reason, I could not, for the life of me, I feel like this is really bright. Hold on. Okay, there we go. And some reason, I could not figure out for the life of me how to write the imagery that I saw in my head. So I think I tried to work on it for about I finished a little bit early. I finished at 9:30. I was tired, but I was just more annoyed that I couldn't figure out how to express, you know, the imagery that I saw in my head. So what I did is I watched some YouTube videos. I watched some master classes on writing imagery. I feel like for me, I just don't have the vocabulary yet to write what I want to say, or to even know what I really want to say. Like, I may see it, but I might not even know the words that fit the scene in my head. So that was really like irking me. Like, for the life of me, I could not figure out how to describe how this murmur like erupted from the crowd. Like, I wanted to like make it seem like it started off small and then it kind of like rippled, you know, like when you throw stuff in water and then, you know, it kind of just ripples out. I wanted it to sound and look like that while you're reading it. Like, you know, once the murmuring started, it kind of just like rippled out. And I felt like I did a very basic version of it, of just saying it. I was like, the echoes rippled through the crowd like water, or something like that. Like, that's the gist that I wanted to have, but that's not necessarily how I wanted to describe it. I wanted it to be I just wanted it to be more detailed, more descriptive. I think that's the word. I think I want it to be more descriptive. And then that also going into my the 3rd chapter, I restarted it. I only had like 400 words in that 3rd chapter, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna restart it because the dynamic of it has changed. So what I did do to help me kind of like refocus, I redid my scenes for chapter 2 and chapter 3. They're the same, but I lessened the bullet points that I have. So like, usually my bullet points would be like little mini paragraphs, but what I did, I was like 2 sentence boom, 2 sentence boom, 2 sentence boom, to kind of like break it apart. And then maybe if I look at what I want in a simplified term, like, this is the feeling, this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen next, or lead to, you know, blah, blah, blah. If I simplified it a little bit for the scene structure that I have set up next to my document for the chapter, I would be able to write it more. So, or I'd be able to get into the writing more. It was really hard for me to like tap into writing because I really didn't know how to describe what was happening. So it was a little bit frustrating. So after watching some videos from some YouTubers and stuff and looking up some stuff like online, I printed out like different imaginary descriptive words. Like I already had that done, like with different sounds, smells, textures and things. So I guess the best thing that I can really do is just to go through all of those pieces of paper and to look at and be like, okay, I can use these words to describe what I want the readers to feel, or what I really want the readers to see. I feel like that's the trickiest part. It's like if I can't get what I'm thinking or what I'm seeing out on the pages, then I can't really make the connection that I want with my audience. And I feel like a lot of the authors that I read or that I have on my bookshelf that I have read, they're really good at description or like the imagery. So I'm like, oh, I can imagine myself in the marketplace and hearing the sound and seeing the colors. So I'll probably just do some rereading just to brush up my skills, because I really don't do imagery like that, you know. Never really had to focus on writing as a craft, and now that I am doing that, I see, oh, I am struggling because I cannot get this imagery down, and it is frustrating me. So tonight, for this lovely Wednesday, I want to start chapter 2. I was able to write my little sentence to start off the chapter that took for fucking ever for me to just like, this is what you're just gonna put for this. And then I'll just try to go from there. Hopefully I'll be in a better writing space. I was like really tired. Work was like, it wasn't annoying, but I was in the office way longer than I thought I would be. And that kind of just threw off my night a little bit. So you know, it is what it is. But I do plan on writing today, giving myself some grace with this whole writing, crafting, and imagery. But definitely leave some tips down below, like how you guys write your imagery or what tools you use to help you with describing things, just so the readers can see it, because that's just so frustrating to me. I felt so stuck and I couldn't move on, because you know I get fixated on things. Still trying to work on that in the new year, but I felt I couldn't move on because I didn't know how to say what I was seeing in my head. So you know. So if you got any tips or suggestions, please let your girl know. So tonight I'm going to start chapter 2. Hopefully I can get about 1,000 words in, because usually my first chapter and my second chapter are like 2,200, almost 3 words. So it's 11 going on 12 pages for each. So if I can get like 1,000 or a good chunk tonight, I can, I'm still going to work on it throughout the rest of the week. My goal for the end of this month is to hit 10 chapters. So I'm more than positive I can do it. But one thing I also did notice is that since my 3 characters are all on different story arc quests, or they're on different story, they have different story arcs. Yeah, that's the word I want to use. I have to really finish road mapping this book. I know how I want it to start. I know how I want it to end. I know what I want the theme to overall be. I still haven't sat down and plotted out everything, and I think I'm really gonna have to do that, because I don't know what the inciting incident for either of these characters are. I know by the beginning, middle, and end, all of these characters kind of have to come together by happenstance, and then through working together. So I just gotta figure that out. I kind of neglected that part, so I'm gonna get to that. And yeah, so I'm gonna let y'all go, and I gotta get to work. I'm at the facility. I have telehealth, so that's why I'm here early. So yeah, I will check back in with y'all later, see if we made any progress. What's up, y'all? Y'all like my new chair? Isn't it nice? I stole it from my husband. Anyway, so good morning. It is January 5th, Thursday. As you can see, I'm in my nice fuzzy robe. I actually just rolled out of bed, no bullshit. I rolled out of bed. I have morning team meetings for the supervisors in our team, so it's on Zoom. So technically, I don't gotta be dressed until I go to the facility. So I'm gonna be in this here robe until my meetings are over.
But I wanted to touch bases with what happened last night. So, last night was also not a good writing night. I couldn't get into it at all. Nothing I tried. I lit my candles. I took a break. I drank some wine. I could not get into the writing. I don't know if the imagery, just the idea of writing imagery and all that stuff, like kind of fucked me up. So I had to take a pause and bring it back. So what I did do, because one thing about my mind, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. So I had like a whole bunch of stuff going on in my mind at the same time, right? So while I'm worrying about this imagery and writing for this chapter 3, I was also like, I don't have these motherfuckers inciting incident. I don't know what the order, and by order, I mean, there are 3 point of views, and from the start to the end of the day, as I'm referring to it as, I didn't have that planned out, and I guess that just bothered me. So that's what I did for like an hour. So let me show y'all. So from the start of the day, my days go from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. From the start of the day, there will be 7 chapters. Each chapter will start the exposition of the character. The inciting incidents, I'm learning, have to be a little bit pushed back because I have 3 fucking point of views. So I was like, fuck, let me really actually pay attention to this Children of Blood and Bone that has 3 points of view so I can see where everybody's inciting incident is. My first character, I guess I could tell you guys my character names, by the way. I don't know why it's being so secretive, because they'll probably change. You never know. So my first character is Zadia. She has 3 chapters from the start to the end. My second male character, his name is KASHARI. He has 2 chapters. And then my other third character, who I kind of added in there, but I thought her perspective was really interesting, because Zadia and my other character, ADANNAYA, they intertwine a little bit more. Their storylines mesh more. They're each other's main storyline, but they're not each other's B storylines, if that makes sense. Because I was also like, what the fuck are people's B storylines? I already know KASHARI's B storyline. I want him to have a love interest. I really do. I really do. Avatar: The Way of Water, it just inspired me to do that. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going for it. But as you can see, I tried to, oh yeah, I can't see that. But as you can see, I tried to like have everything start out. So in chapter 1, we meet Zadia. It's 9 a.m. We meet her. Chapter 2, we learn her plan fails. That's the continuing chapter. Chapter 3, we meet KASHARI. It's about 12 p.m. Then we go into meeting ADANNAYA around 3 p.m. because she's on punishment. She's locked in a room and all that stuff. And I'm like, that should be around 3 p.m. The next scene or the next chapter I want her to have will be her interacting with her dad during dinner time. So I was like, ooh, what time does dinner time start? Around 6 or 7. So after ADANNAYA's chapter at chapter 4, which is 3 p.m., we're going to go to chapter 5, which is Zadia's last chapter. You see her home life. And then now you see the repercussion of her actions from the first 2 chapters. I'm like, cool. And around that time, it's 5-ish p.m. We also see the fallout with her and her best friend near that time. And then, you know, they have to reconcile. A reconciliation. They reconcile at the beginning of day 2. So I'm going to get to that part. So chapter 5 is Zadia's home life and then her kind of like splitting with her best friend. Going to chapter 6, we're back with ADANNAYA at 7 p.m. and she's with her dad, Ibiri. And so we kind of get their dynamic and we try to see their relationship from how she talked about her dad in the first chapter to now interacting with him and then trying to figure out what happened to, you know, her secret boo thing, Sahel. So that's what we're gonna do. I feel like I'm dropping a lot of names. I'm dropping a lot of names in this video right now. It's okay. I'll put pictures and stuff up in names. So then from ADANNAYA's chapter from 7 p.m., which is her 6th chapter, we're going to chapter 7, which is KASHARI's last chapter at 9 p.m., where we meet his family life. So we see his dynamic with his brother and his uncle, and then him kind of living in the skirts of no man's land. That's where all the manifestors are kind of like resided in the divide of the city. But again, he is a uncollared manifestor, so he can kind of go between both worlds a little bit, although it kind of paranoids the hell out of him. I think I also figured out what his magic would be. I think I mentioned that yesterday, but I really can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did. He is a elemental manifestor with his magic. He has absorption magic. I'm pretty sure I said that to y'all, and it's sounding familiar. But that's what I'm working with. There's also different levels. I feel like I want to work with this magic system because my big boss at the end of this chapter, I want him to have like the big badass magic that I have. But I also feel like KASHARI's magic, what he can do, it's dangerous if uncontrolled. It's dangerous if uncontrolled. It's not really the big badass magic, but for me right now, it kind of feels like that. So then I'm also have to go into the demented characters and give them their magical elements that they will have. But then anyway, I sidetracked myself. Sorry. So chapter 1 to chapter 7 is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We start with chapter 2. Well, we start with chapter 8, day 2, Zadia's chapter. She saying goodbye to her friend Severin, and then she's also going to be on the path to her inciting incident from the first 3 chapters. Does that make sense, y'all? So that's really what I did. Like I said, I didn't write. I kind of stripped. I kind of had my midlife crisis, like I always do. I took all the chapters that I had written and I moved them to a different document just so I didn't see them. So I'm starting from a blank page, but I still have my same word count, but I just could not write anything to save my life, and I needed to make the document plain while looking at it. So I just moved it to a Microsoft Word. I'm just going to copy and paste it over later again tonight. But yeah, so that's how yesterday went. Oh, I really don't know how today is going to go. I hope it goes well. You know what? The thing is, I'm not trying to break the chain. I'm at least writing and doing something every day. What I haven't done in the last 2 days is read. So I need to actually read to study the craft and figure out what is going on so I can pace my book off of that as well, if that makes sense. So at least I answered the 2 questions that I had in my head. That's still this imagery shit is still fucking with me. And I think that's it. So I will touch bases with you guys on Friday. Hopefully we will end the week a little bit better. It started good. I can still, resolve this. And I'm not even gonna not write Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna write Saturday and Sunday. I'm not breaking this chain. I've been writing every single fucking day. So yeah, just a little bump in the road, just a little bump, but that's okay. It was hump day yesterday, so that makes completely fucking sense. Now that it's Thirsty Thursday, I should be able. They won't even call it Thirsty Thursday that anymore. Now that it's Thursday, I feel like I would have gotten over myself, and I can go back to writing. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do tonight. Knock on wood. So, all right, I'll update y'all later. Hey guys, so it's Friday, January the 6th, and I am touching bases with you guys to let y'all know how writing went yesterday. Let me get a little bit lighter, kind of a little dark. There we go. So how writing went yesterday. So I was able to write 400-ish words of a new scene. It's with the character Zadia. So it was fun. It was fun writing this scene. It was an action scene. I felt like this suited what I wanted to be happening for her, for this forward momentum. How I started off the scene originally was kind of static, yeah, not moving an inch. But what I have is
I just tweaked the first part of her chapter a little bit to make it more of an action scene where I feel like it's this. We learn about the stakes more. It's flowing more. When I was rereading chapter 1, I felt like there was a lot of like dead spots in it. And what I did like from rereading Tomi Adeyemi's book is that it kind of just kept flowing. It went from one thing to another thing to another thing, and I was like, okay, I like that. I kind of started off, here we are, and then I started something and then I stopped, but then the next chapter was going to pick it up. And so what I thought doing editing this chapter again, which I know I don't want to go back and re-edit the things that I do, but I think Stephen King said he does that sometimes. He'll reread the first, like the last page, to get him in the mindset and to write the next chapter or the next page. And so when I got to the end of reading chapter 1, I was like, I felt it was good, but it wasn't as attention grabbing. And like I said, I was, struggling a little bit with the imagery. I've gotten a little bit, I think I got over myself some. I was able to introduce some imagery with comparing her movement to like animals, introducing like, this is my whole full world. I wanted her, when she compares herself, like her movement to things, I don't want it to be like, oh, I was moving in like a green snake in the grass. Like I want it to be a little bit more interesting. So she's like, I'm moving through the crowd. What I call this snake? It was like a white scaled, a copy snake or something like that. Like I went on Fantasy Name Generator. That's my forever plug that I need to put in my drop down, like the little description box. I forever stay using Fantasy Name Generator because they give me so many ideas. And so I was able to add more imagery with how she was acting to animals, which is kind of funny. I think I might have to bring that back. I don't think she'll end up being a manifester, but I do have one of my characters who are a manifester. So I guess that only leaves the other character to become a manifester. I think ADANNAYA is going to become one, but we'll see how that goes. But it was a lot easier comparing her movement and her behavior to animals and describing that than trying to do a more broader thing. So I had a good time with that. I only wrote around like 490-ish, kind of 500 words. I ended the scene. It was really late. I didn't get home until like 5:30-ish. I didn't get done with my notes, my case notes, until like 7:30. Then I ate dinner and all that stuff, and then that took me until like 8:30, another hour. And so then that's when I started writing a little bit. I only wrote for maybe like an hour and some change. But it felt really good writing the scene. What I did try to do, I like to look at the characters while I'm trying to write the chapter, just so I can get more of her voice. Again, the only problem with rereading some books that I'm familiar with is that I feel like I want to emulate that. And in a sense, I do, but I still want it to be how Abriana sounds or how my character Zadia would sound. So I made note not to try to purely sound like the character Zaylee or Tomi in her in Children of Blood and Bone. So I added different vernacular for Zadia, and I was having a really good time with my little 400 or how many words I had before I called it a night. I had a really good time. And so I was able to kind of leave like I did a couple of days ago on that little giddy high of like, oh, I had a really nice writing session. And I feel excited to do it. Whereas the other 2 days, it was like, I'm kind of grasping at straws. I don't necessarily I feel the funk of it, and I don't feel the excitement of it, just because I was just kind of bogging myself down a little bit. So once I answered some of those questions that I had for myself, I was able to, kick my own butt and get myself back into like being exciting, into like editing this chapter 1 to go into chapter 2. And now that now that I feel better with that, I should be able to move on better. I put the starting, my plan for tonight is to put the starting sentences or catchphrases, the start of the sentence for each new chapter. I have one for KASHARI. I have one for ADANNAYA for her first and second chapters when you meet her. I only have one for when we meet KASHARI, and that's when he's, out with his team, his squad and stuff. So yeah, that was really it. It was a really quick, simple writing day. Feel good about it. I will definitely write tonight. Actually, the husband's going out with some of his friends, so I get the house to myself. So I'm gonna have a blast. I'm gonna have a blast writing. I still feel completely confident in being able to hit 10 chapters by January 30th. Like I said, I did outline, or I timed and I did little brief descriptions of chapters 1 through 8 or 1 through 7. So now it's gonna definitely go from 1 to, on down. But I planned it, but I still gotta write it, so that's still a thing. But yeah, so we're getting back into the writing groove. What I did like, or what has been helping me with rereading some of the fantasy books that I do like, is that I can see the sentence structure. I never have been like very proficient when it comes to sentence structure and wording and all that stuff, like how you should break down the paragraphs and all that. That's never really been me. I'm just a person who will write a whole bunch of blocks in the text, like a big ass paragraph, and I just hope the teacher can read it. I've never known how to like structure that, set it up. So I've definitely been trying to mimic that with different phrases. Like we start off with this, we go to this, like it's more internal dialogue, and then we go back into writing some more, if that makes sense. The one thing that I always found interesting is I know how it sounds in my head, but I don't know how that will look on the page when it comes to different tones and pitches, and like when things should be italicized or in parentheses for when she's repeating a quote from someone else. So it's really like getting the I don't want to say the foundation. What's the word that I want to use? I guess I'll go back to sentence structure. Yeah. So it's really how formatting that sentence structure. So when she's either talking with her friend Severin, she's observing something, she's describing something, or she's requoting something, I'm able to put that on the page and it's able to be read as such, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But looking at other people's books and how they write their sentences, or how they structure it when they're having internal dialogue, when they're repeating something, when something needs to be italicized, I'm getting more into that, because I feel like that was also stopping me a little bit, because I was like, I feel like, because I want my book to be read, but I want my book to have like an audiobook, obviously, because audiobooks are amazing. They really help me. They really get me through writing stuff sometimes. I also think like, how is the person reading this audio or reading my book going to make this sound off of my book? I mean, I'm pretty much sure they probably have to contact the author and they'd be like, oh, so this is what's happening, this is what's happening. They're having an internal dialogue, so this voice isn't really them, it's like their father or something like that. Because I rephrased it. Well, I didn't rephrase it, but I did it where she's requoting one of her father's like old sayings, like the greater the risk, the greater the reward, which I kind of italicized because it was a quote. I figured I was supposed to do that. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But, yeah, like the learning process, learning the craft, that's something that I'm interested in a lot. And I feel like when it comes to the barriers that I will face, or that I will have, will just be like my own personal, me being my own barrier. I know this craft takes time to get better at it, and what I know I need to do is to write and read every day. And so far this whole week, if I haven't written, I've read a tiny bit. If I'm still actively I got thirsty for 2 seconds. Working on improving my craft. I was actually thinking about taking online creative writing lessons, just so I can kind of like jump into something that I want to do, as a backup plan, so I can still build my skill and all that stuff, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm making sense when I'm describing my thought process to you guys. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Maybe it is. Maybe it won't. I definitely going to write today. Never mind. I'm going to recap with you guys after my late night writing session that I'll probably have today. I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to save my little outro for later on today. All right.
I just fucking got my fingers stuck between my chair and the desk. That shit hurt. Anyway, it's Sunday. I need to close out the vlog. I ain't gonna lie, I completely forgot about it. I actually just got done doing my hair, so don't mind all of this, okay? Y'all just came here to see what happened for the rest of the week. So I wrote yesterday. I ended up writing that's a damn lie, 4 more pages onto my other beginning chapter, my redo. I still have my old chapter. I just took it out. I just wanted to look at it with a new lens. I added 4 more pages onto that yesterday, so I have 8 pages, around 1,500-ish words, but I know I can kick it out to 2 because I haven't even got to like the crunch of the scene yet. I'm still in the beginning part of the scene. What I did do for this different version of chapter 1 for Zadia, I did start to add more history between the islands, if that makes sense. There's this building that she's describing where the registration is being held, and that was a gift from the mainland to the people of Ubala because they were the designated hostess for their problem residents, right? So she's talking a little bit more about that. I've been really working on my imagery and description, so I've been taking it real slow. Like I said, I wrote 4 pages yesterday. I think I can knock the rest out, or the majority of it out today. I still haven't gotten to the crux of the scene, but I know what it is. I'm finagling it a little bit so I can get there a different way. Oh, did I tell you what the date was? It is it's the 8th. Yeah, it's Sunday, January 8th. I don't know if I said that. I'm pretty sure I did, but if I didn't, it's Sunday, January 8th. So yeah, I had a decent writing week. Well, you guys know, y'all followed me through the whole week. The imagery was really something that kicked me in the ass. It surely did. That imagery kicked me in the ass. But you know, I've been practicing with it. I was actually thinking of doing, what was it called, like Skillshare, or they have like creative writing courses and all that stuff. I was like, why don't I just take a Skillshare class or something like that? That might be interesting, because I've been watching like YouTube videos of like how to do creative writing and everything. So yeah, that's really just it. Like it was an okay writing week. I still wrote every single day, and I am proud of myself for that. I actually just ordered my laminator because I am making my series Bible in this beautiful thing here. Very much inspired by Avatar. Very much inspired by Avatar. Okay, like it's go big or go home, and Avatar really inspired me. So this is where it's going to. Ooh shit, it's upside down. So this is going to be my printed out laminated series Bible. So once I'm done with everything on my PowerPoint that I can possibly think of while creating book 1, I'm gonna print all that out and I'm gonna put it in here. I'm gonna have it designated for like, you know, the history, and then like the people and customs, the clothing. Like I'm going really freaking big. Like you should see my PowerPoint. It's really impressive. But I haven't printed all that out yet. And then I still have this where I'm still like writing all my notes for how I'm planning out scenes and all that stuff. With my sticky notes and all that. So I mean, it's coming along. It's coming along. Writing is a very interesting process where I feel like I'm taking like 2 steps forward, but then I take 1 back, but it's really not a step back. It's just me reevaluating what the issue is, and then me trying to fix said issue that I feel I have. Sorry, the football game is going on my... Anyway, husband's probably watching football. So anyway, yeah, let me just wrap this up. It was going on 4 minutes. This is my writing week. So yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Share if you care. And I will be back with another one real soon. Oh wait, also tell me how y'all writing is going down below, because I got some new subscribers. So like tell me how y'all writing is. Like what's going on? Let me know. Okay? Okay, that's really it. That's it.